Well, speaking of limits,
right?
That's what our
that's
next
a good transition.
Yes, it is. Good segue. Talk about it. What's on your mind?
Well, I think you look at colleges and the new NFL contract too, where they're limiting practice time, the amount of contact you do during the week. And obviously, recently Michigan got in trouble with the NCAA for the extra practice time that they were doing. There was no limits in high school. Right. You think about it, the kids can lift as long as they want. 7-on-7s is a growing area where athletes are, bettering themselves, getting more notoriety, maybe improving their skills along with it. But they could practice any time during the week if they wanted to practice 3 hours. Now, this time of year, if you talk to head coaches, they don't want to use their kids too long in practice. They find that they're getting bored, and as the season goes on, they're banged up. Right. You don't want them with the contact drills as much. But you look at, in the preseason scrimmages, the double sessions. Hey, there is no limit. I'm not sure that's right. Then again, I'm not sure how you limit that. Is it?
Has there ever been?
No, not to my knowledge. And some of the coaches say, talking to Chris Bell with Lake Orion, because he lost so many players from last year to starters. He said, Tom, I had 17 practice days. Nothing against Oxford in that opener, but they weren't ready.
Yeah.
And fortunately for Lake Orion, their easier schedule happened earlier in the season. His linemen were able to gain experience that way, more reps, and that no limit, rule, as it were, or lack of thereof, helps a team like Lake Orion and then anybody else that needs more practice time with their players. So I think
how do you suggest you impose limits? What would you suggest?
I think you could do something during the regular season. For instance, maybe limit contact, to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because if you're playing Friday, you're not going to have contact drills, and you could limit the time. But then, if you impose those rules, how do you police it? That would be the tough thing to do. You have 607 schools playing football in the state, and 11-man football. How do you, as an organization, I think that would be too much for the MHSA to do.
Right.
But what they could do is do it down to the local level. Have representatives of the leagues, pass out, information on the limits that they could have for their players. Now, I think in the off season, that's a whole different thing, where you're lifting weights, conditioning, maybe going through the 7-on-7s, and once you start preseason practice, then you're trying to get as much as reps as you can. I'm not sure you can really limit that, but maybe during the regular season.
All right. Okay.
Because they're younger kids.
Absolutely.
They're not as developed as
that's
the 25-year-old.
Right. And with concussions and all that, it is an issue, no doubt about it. All right, well, that's a good debate. Good debate. Definitely make sure you join Tom and I on the radio. Tom actually is going to be gone next week. He will not be there.
In the old stomping grounds,
That's
Southern
right.
California.
That's right. He'll be on SoCal, and we'll have his colleague from the Detroit News, Rod Beard, joining us. That's next Friday on the State Champs Friday Night High School Football Show. You can listen to it on WDFN, 11:30 a.m. from 10 to midnight, and we'll have another issue. When do you leave?
I leave on Wednesday night.
All right, so we'll make sure we get in another one of these.
We'll get another OT in before that.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you next week.